You interviewed Aljamain Sterling, a guy that I've known for a very long time. I give him a lot of credit. I do believe that his two fights with Peter Yan could have went either way, especially the second one. I think Yan won. But the Dillashaw fight, he absolutely won. And even the Cejudo is washed up. He's not the same fighter he once was. But I mean, he even took shots at Dana White after the Cejudo fight. He says, now it's time to open up your pockets and start paying me. I am the champion. I am the rightful champion. I am the bantamweight. And the bantamweight division is probably one of the best divisions right now in mixed martial arts. When you interviewed Aljamain, what were your thoughts? Did you hear the confidence in him? And do you think that he really believes he's one of the best pound for pound fighters right now in the UFC?
I think that what you see with Aljo is definitely what you get. And what we talked about was really kind of his life, his upbringing. I know you mentioned that, you knew him in his early phases. Now, did you know him on the island or back when he was upstate?
I actually fought in the Luongo and Sarah Jim. I've known him when he started, and him and his team of partners are very big into real estate out here in Long Island. He's doing pretty well in buying and selling houses and all that other stuff. So he's an entrepreneur, and he knew that fighting isn't going to take him to higher heights when it comes to money. He needed another way into opening up avenues where he can bring in a pretty good money. He comes from a family that doesn't have anything. And, when you see somebody as gritty as he is and a guy that never was handed anything, it's an amazing story when you see where he came from and how he crawled up to be the bantamweight champion of the UFC.
Yeah, and that's really what we focus on when I spoke with him is where he came from. And he grew up in Uniondale, Roosevelt, one
Mm-hmm.
of 19 siblings. He mentioned he had a very hard home life, and
100%. Yeah.
and in high school he said wrestling saved his life.
Yep.
And he is as grateful and humble as he is confident. And when I spoke with him, it was in the Longo Sarah gym in Garden City. It was right after he had been sparring with Marab,
Mm-hmm.
and he just did 25 minutes, whole simulated match and everything. He's on the ground still catching his breath from everything. You could tell how authentic he was being,
Mm-hmm.
and it was confidence, but it was very grounded. That's the way I would describe him. And I still said, I was like, you tweeted that you think, second round knockout of Henry, and he says right away, absolutely. So there is that,
Confidence.
I appreciate not just what he did in just speaking to me very unrefined, opening up about his life, about getting into fighting, about his, about what an influence John Jones was on him, and how he came to Long Island, and how Long Island has really, really rallied around him. And to give you a story about this, there's a little bar in my town where he also lives now, Massapequa.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Johnny
I know
McGorry's,
where that is. Yep.
and every time Aljo steps in, he is just everyone loves him, even the people who know nothing about UFC. He's just a very likable guy, and you admire what he's come from, the attitude that he's had. Again, confidence, but you know that he knows he's seen both sides of life, and he's never really taken anything for granted, and people love him for that. There's a reason Nassau County had a parade for him where everybody came out. He's a very likable guy in
Yes,
that
he
regard.
is.
And after he beat Cejudo, and I was at the fight. It was my first UFC event I've ever been
Really
to
good
in
for you.
person. It was really,
Did you
really
cover
exciting.
it? Were you invited to be covering it?
So my feature ran actually the day of the fight. So my coverage was done. I'm sure if I wanted a press pass, I could have gotten it, but I just wanted to go as a fan, see Matt Frivola fight, the knockout over Drew Dober in the first round. That was unbelievable stuff. That was very exciting. Going to be going up to Boston for the next one. Who knows? Actually, I don't know what I'll be going up in what capacity, but right now, me and a colleague who's a very big UFC fan, we want to make the trip again, and I have a feeling a lot of local people will too.